So I took advantage of a rainy Saturday to go up to the Land Rover Experience in Manchester, Vermont. I had the pleasure of putting about 300 miles on the Defender today, going through a couple deluge rainstorms, really performed great. And I had the utmost pleasure of seeing the odometer on the Defender go from 999 to 1,000 miles. So one big milestone accomplished here. So my Defender, I really envisioned it actually going off-road, doing what it's designed for. And so I spec'd it with the off-road pack, which has a variety of features, including off-road tires, both a center and rear locking differential, as well as other features such as all-terrain progress control, which is essentially like a cruise control for off-road, and hill descent control. So here I am, the Land Rover Experience, getting some hands-on training from the experts in how to use these features, in an off-road environment. So the day started with a demonstration of the Defender's air suspension, which in its highest off-road setting can achieve ground clearance of approximately 14 inches. Now we then went through a pretty serious obstacle course, which included ditches, ruts, huge puddles, steep hills to decline. It was really impressive seeing these vehicles navigate those obstacles with ease. With all that said, I'll stop talking and you can enjoy watching some Defenders operate in their natural habitat.
See the back of the car?
I'm not going to get you out of the car. Dave, do you want to just real quickly let him just take a picture of that? Take a picture of that, too. This is pretty... That's a pretty great view. Yeah. Who would have thought?
So after running the obstacle course for probably an hour and a half or so, we took the Defenders over to Mount Equinox, which has a Class 4 road. This is a road that's open to the public but not maintained by the state or municipality, so you'll encounter sharp rocks, gravel, water runouts, the occasional tree that's fallen over. And this is probably representative of what we'll find in the New England area for off-roading terrain.
So, not very many, but what you should think about is the things we've talked about in terms of weight transfer, driver inputs. It is the same at 2 miles an hour as it is at 102 miles an hour on a race circuit. And also the traction that we're chasing. It's not snowing, but we do drive around in the snow. There's no ice, but we do drive around in the ice. Everything we talk about in terms of off-road technique is applicable to your normal on-road driving experience, especially if you live in the Northeast, because you drive in snow, right? And you drive in rain, and drive on cobblestones and across potholes. So all of this can be helpful information, and you have a capable vehicle if you have a Land Rover of any kind. So I guess in a way, I think a lot of people are driving off-road and they don't even know it, but we don't see enough of them. Let's center those rocks. Greatest amount of ground clearance in that center of that rock in front of you. And now you're just trying to make some line choice decision. So the one thing to think about in your car is you have a rooftop tent.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's too many clearance issues here. But if there were and the terrain was relatively flat underneath you, you could go to access height to get underneath it and then raise it back up. Hold the wheel straight here.
Okay.
I want to attack these rocks with a straight wheel. They're sharp and they look like they want to cause a problem. There we go. Just finding the low point over those rocks. Now turn this way slightly, but I don't really want to, even a little bit more, but I don't want to expose my sidewall to the rocks on this side. Back to center. And we're going to drive towards that tree in front of us for purpose.
Okay.
And as we do it, we see we have a lot of things we're trying to cross on that
seriously.
side. So go forward, just straight, and now commit hard to the left, all the way. And what I'm actually looking for is I'm just trying to make sure your sidewall's not going to rub against the pipe right there, which it's not going to. So go. The important part of this technique is that we went high and now we're driving downhill over the pipe. So it just gives us a little bit more control advantage. Back to center. Now you can see we're well inside of rubbing our sidewall there.
Nice.
And off this way. So all of these rocks are sharp and ledgy, and you're trying to, all right, well, where should I drive? I would keep this down the center for now.
Okay.
But just be aware of some of the rocks on either side. Don't want to rub sidewalls. Actually, don't want to.
Kind of up and.
I would come a little bit more this way, just
Okay.
a little bit. That's probably good right there. So we're inside of that rock.
Yep.
And we're over the other one you were looking at. And then eventually we're going to climb out of here, so you sort of can isolate a low point directly on driver's side, start a little bit of a move this direction. As soon as you feel like you have your line down, go back to center because that's where your traction is, and just be consistent with your throttle. And then ahead of you, it's just a matter of
Yeah, that's a sharp one.
pick a rock to put a tire on. And also the brothers with their wood stacks
Oh, is
here.
this down?
Yeah, they heat mostly with wood. I don't know who had the idea to take this tree down, but they did. Maybe it came down. They chopped it up, and they haven't fetched it yet. But it's good rock maple, good firewood for them. We can stay on this side. He's just opening the gate.
Take it out of low.
Sure. Neutral.
So all in all, great experience. Glad I did it. Would definitely recommend it to anybody else who buys a Land Rover and gets a complimentary voucher to the Land Rover Experience. Saw a part of Vermont I hadn't seen before. We'll definitely check out Manchester in the future if I'm ever skiing at Stratton. But yeah, just a great time. Got to get some miles on my Defender, and have no regrets taking the trip.